Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I haven't talked about this for a while and I think it's about time I did. You know, it's past due. It's been a few months maybe, I don't know, but it's been a while. Malicious altruism. Some people will know what this is because I have discussed it before, and I've just seen the perfect example of it being used against the population. I think it is a malicious tool that is used to destroy nations, and I think we're seeing it live right now. And maybe once I've explained this, you'll have a clearer understanding of what it is, how it's used, and also how to defend yourself against it. Malicious altruism is the calculated exploitation of altruistic language, sentiments, and moral frameworks to advance self-serving, manipulative, or destructive agendas while claiming to serve the greater good. In other words, it's the linguistic vehicle that the left uses in order to push their agenda, at the expense of the nation, at the expense of the individual, at the expense of everyone but themselves. And they do it using empathy.
If raising legitimate concerns about thousands and thousands of unchecked foreign males illegally entering our country makes me far right, then so be it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Mail Online, random article, just picked it by chance, and it is talking about the recent change in law, which means you're now legally allowed to murder your baby right up until the point of birth. A couple of minutes after birth, in fact, a couple of seconds after birth, that's illegal. You'll be sent to prison forever. But a couple of minutes before birth and it's fine. Anyway, we'll read this article and try and figure out how that could possibly make sense. So MPs have voted in favour of measures to decriminalise abortion in a move to make the biggest law change in more than 50 years. You know, some things just shouldn't change. I wouldn't celebrate nonsense going legal just because we've never done it before. Some things you just shouldn't do, right? MPs have voted in favour of measures to decriminalise women terminating or murdering their own pregnancies, their own babies. Right, let's get the terminology right. MPs have voted in favour of measures to decriminalise women murdering their own babies. Okay? I'll go, the rest of this, I'll read it the way it is, but let's get that straight. In the biggest change to law on reproductive rights for half a century. See how they frame it, guys? This is what I'm talking about. Malicious altruism. The language that they're using here is saying that it's all about reproductive rights. It's all about women's rights. What about that weird, strange case where a young woman may unfortunately be A-prayed by an immigrant or something, and then she's carrying that baby? Well, you know what? Our abortion laws were already pretty lenient. So I think that kind of situation, that would be fine. It would already be taken care of. They don't need to murder the baby all the way up until 9 months, especially with, you know, like we keep repeating, a very meager birth rate in this country. In fact, it's the lowest it's ever been. It sounds counterproductive to then murder more babies. But again, I'm getting off track. They're using the language of altruism and empathy to make you feel bad enough to do things against your own interest. So women will no longer face prosecution for aborting their own baby, again, language, for any reason and at any stage up to birth under the proposed legislation, which was backed by 379 psychopaths and 137 normal people who voted against it. Tonia Anzianazi. Oh, come on, man. Come on, can we just have English MPs, please? The Labour MP who put forward the amendment, well, there you go. They're not even English. Of course they don't want more English. They're happy with a reduced birth rate. Let's murder more of them. Said it will remove the threat of investigation, arrest, prosecution or imprisonment of any woman who acts in relation to her own pregnancy. So because she's a woman, she is allowed now to murder babies. As long as they're her own. He told the Commons the current Victorian abortion law in England and Wales is increasingly used against vulnerable women. Again, the language, the framing. Feel sorry for these people. If you don't feel sorry for these people, you're a bad person, therefore kill babies. and said her amendment was a once-in-a-generation opportunity to enact your incredibly evil plan. Miss Anianiani's amendment will be the biggest change to the law concerning women's reproductive rights. Yeah, exactly. Since the 1967 Abortion Act, which itself was a mistake. But this is a bigger mistake. Well, they're not really. It's probably not a mistake, hence the malicious altruism. It will alter the blah blah act. Okay, it's just talking about that before. Yeah, and here we go, guys. Another example of them using malicious altruism. MPs and pro-choice activists, so the good guys, welcomed the abortion vote and said it will finally put an end to the prosecution of those poor, vulnerable baby murderers. But anti-abortion campaigners, MPs opposed the reform, said the move allows women to end the life of their unborn... Fucking hell, let's read that again. But anti-abortion campaigners and MPs opposed to the reform said the move allows women to end the life of their unborn child right up to birth and for any reason without facing repercussions. And MPs said the move allows... Yeah, of course it does. Yep, of course it does. Of course it does. That's like telling me the sky is blue. What? That's exactly what the legislation is. Of course they're going to do that. You're just saying literally what the Wow, insightful. And you know, guys, this is all framed around these poor, vulnerable women who need another option. Maybe they're in a dire circumstance or something where they need to just murder their own baby. And usually it's put forward that they've had some kind of sexual experience in which was unwanted and therefore they need to terminate it, etc. Then why would you add this to the bill? Why would you add this part to the bill as well? If that's the case, they go to a hospital, they do it all professionally, it's great, everyone's above board. But no, they add this in there as well. Under Miss Decriminalises amendment, women will no longer be prosecuted for an abortion when it relates to their own pregnancy, even if they abort their own baby without medical approval. So backstreet abortions are fine now. We're just gonna, well, this is the UK now. We'll be taking the bins out and there'll be aborted fucking babies in there. This is mental. And again, this is malicious altruism. They're convincing you that this horrible bill is in the best interests of these poor, vulnerable baby murderers. There's no one winning here. There's no one winning apart from the enemies of this country. I'm sorry, guys. This is horrid. This is the worst. And look, it comes around to justify it.
Women affected are more acutely vulnerable victims of domestic abuse and violence, human trafficking and sexual exploitation. That's why we need to murder them in the back streets without medical supervision or authorisation.
What are you talking about? Meanwhile, Tory MP Rebecca Paul, two first names, said that she was disturbed by the criminalisation amendment, which, yeah, I am too, which will mean that fully developed babies up to term let's get the language right, fully developed babies up to term could be murdered by a woman with no consequences. The reason we criminalise late-term abortion is not about punishment, I agree. It's about protection. It's a deterrent also. By providing by providing a deterrent to such actions, we protect women. And babies. It's primarily protecting the babies. I think out of everyone, they need the most protection, right? Anyway, guys, look, it goes on, and you get the point now. You get these people coming out, and they're using your empathy. They're using false equivalencies. They're using a narrative that doesn't exist in order to convince you that that feeling inside you that's going, hey, dude. Hey, dude, hey, dude. What the fuck? Yeah, that feeling, it's trying to suppress that feeling. It's trying to go, no, you just be quiet now. I don't like that. Intuition is not good. Now silence it. No. Killing babies is good. Now, YouTube, I'm obviously not saying that killing babies is good. I'm using sarcasm to emphasize a point. So leave the video alone, please. This is a comment on the current news and it's all fair and good and game. Anyway, guys, if you do like the videos, put a like down there, a comment, help me spread the thing because YouTube won't. YouTube won't, will it? No, it's all about the babies, isn't it, YouTube? Anyway, if you do like the content, please subscribe, like I said, and have a good day. I will see you later. The conspiracies seem to be real.